now. Brilliant. So by adding this, you've got this 3D model here, which people can play with. And there's quite a few different elements here for the 3D modeling. So it doesn't just have to be kind of biology. There's also places which they can go 3D with. There's history. There's environments. So if you want to look at how fracking works, or a solar panel, or a power plant, there's loads of little elements they can play with. So you can add that into your slideshow. For those who are the science teachers here, there's quite a few, and science and maths, of these like little games and activities they can play with. So let's take the science one. Now it is American, so it's going to say middle school, elementary school, but it's, you know, you'll be able to pick through. So let's pick one. God, I was dreadful at science. So, you know, again, it's a little game for them. They can do it as part of the presentation, so it's still part of their slideshow. And you can add this to it. So if we have a look, this is what they'll kind of look at. But these are all simulations that are in there. The mathematics ones are always quite good. So I have no, you'd have to play with, okay. Does a brick float in olive oil? I don't know. Let's heat it up. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about this, the science one. It's something for you to play around with and kind of get used to. Some of the other things we can add to it, you can add videos. Now these videos, if I click on them, you can either search for them from YouTube. So I did the Romeo and Juliet one. Let's have a search for that. And again, these ones, the great thing with them is they won't have the adverts and bits and pieces. It'll just be straight a YouTube video thrown in. So if I do want to put that YouTube video in, I can click save. And, you know, maybe I have on here, I have, you know, on the next slide, watch this video, and then we'll add another thing later on. Let's go to add slide, see some of the other features we have here. We can now go to activities. And activities is really where it starts to bring a little bit more interesting in. One of the key things I know that you're looking at is this idea of collaboration and sharing. So we have here, we have a collaborate board. So if I click collaborate, I can put a topic in here. So share ideas on, I don't know, Romeo and his infatuation. Juliet, there we go. Because I'm cynical and that's what I want to be. Again, I can just add simple images. I don't know, that's Romeo there. That person will do. I can pick the style of how I want it, and then I can hit save. Now, what this gives us is an interactive collaboration board. I can put it anywhere on the slides. So let me just pop it here. And then when the students kind of come on here, because they have to log in through Nearpod, which can be done through the classroom, it has their name and they can share their ideas on it. So they'll have that nice little board there. What else can we add to our slide? Let's go to our activities. We can put quizzes in. We've got polling features. So if I want to put a poll in there, so very much like I had with the Mentimeter, what's the best ice cream? There we go. And I don't know. I can put a little video, a timer. There's so much that's very simple and quick for us to do. And the key thing is we're instantly making what was a very dry PowerPoint presentation they may just flick through to something that is interactive for them to engage with. Again, we can go to add slide. Other activities we've got there, the fill in the blanks, put the sentences. I really like this idea of the draw it one. Again, there's quite a few things we can do with the draw it. So we can upload a background image. So say, for example, I had one like a health and safety room. Just see what comes in here. I don't know. Maybe we'll put that there. Again, I had one where it's kind of, so maybe that's it there. Yeah, fantastic. Yep, that's the one I want. And they've got to circle the dangers on. So I can put it on here. Circle the danger of this. There we go. Again, it just adds another element of fun. I've had it where they've had to draw their face to how they feel that day before the start of the lesson, and you can collate it. So now I've created this, just go save and exit it. Call it test run. You have to give it a grade, but it doesn't really matter. Then I'll save and exit. So there's my lesson. It's slowly getting built up for us. Now, you've got quite a few features here which are really great with this. If I hit live lesson, it is synchronous. So if I hit live lesson, what happens here is that my students will go to nearpod.com and they'll type this code in. So if they go to nearpod.com, I'll show you what it looks like. They go to this main site and they have on their main page, they have a little code at the top here. Won't have on here because I'm logged in. And it just says a join code. So they can put that join code in. You also have here the Google Classroom link. And if I hit Google Classroom, let me just do that again. So if I go to live lesson, I hit Google Classroom, and it will bring up this window here. Now what I can do, I can select which class I want it to go live to. I can have it as an assignment, a question, an announcement. So maybe I'll make it as an announcement and I'll hit go. So once I've put that in, I hit post. Now that's shared the link to our Google Classroom page. So I've got this lesson now going live. So if you do have the link to the classroom and you are on there, have a go, click on there, and we can kind of walk and talk through how to use this Nearpod for those that haven't used it. So if you do get a chance, go to the Google Classroom page and click on that test run. Brilliant. So I've got a few people coming in. So this is what all your students will see. You can run this through Zoom. Brilliant. Okay. Now you do have the option down here for hiding the student names. So if I hit this button here, it means that on the screen, the other students won't be able to see who put what answer. So if they do want to keep it a little bit anonymous between them, if they want to post something on the collaboration board, and they don't want to know that other people, I don't want people to know I put that answer there. I can't hit that and it hides the student names. Now with it being synchronous, it means that when I click that next slide, you've got no control. So you can have a little go at this task here. I said draw on the background ninja. Where's the danger? So again, this is what we're looking at here is the teacher screen. So lovely, Donna's work. She's getting cracking on it there. Hopefully she's got it correct. A few other people, they're starting this. Brilliant. Dion, the danger you've highlighted is no reg plates. Brilliant, good. I love that as the first, no reg plate. Brilliant. But what I can do here is, as a teacher, is I can share this straight away with you. You know, again, you may want to put like a picture of a diagram or, you know, anything. You may want to put like a blank space there and ask them to write out a calculation and share it with the group. And what I can do is, as a teacher, I can hide the names. So you can see now how I've hidden the names. And I can go, this is a really great example. I love what you've done here. Yeah, you've highlighted the fact he's got a welder, which is right by the engine block. He's held up with a brick. There's lots of dangers here. So there's quite a few things you can do here. Let's look at some of the other features that we put in. So I can go through my slides. I can talk through them. Now I've got here with my collaboration board, it gives me a couple of options. And this is the thing I do like about this over some of the other tools. I can approve the posts before they're posted. So what this means is if you put something on there, it will come to me first. I look at it and go, yeah, that's suitable to go on the board. And then I can allow it to go on the board. So if you want to, you can type in anything you want. You don't have to share your ideas, and Romeo is infatuation for Juliet because people will disagree with me. You're like 12 or 13, so it's a bit wrong. Good, so I can see here the posts that are pending to come through. And you can start sharing. So great, I've got one post coming in. Brilliant, it melts my heart. Lovely. And I can share that. And again, the great thing with this board is, you know, you can get other students to vote on it and go, okay, what did you think? Her earrings, yes. It's a bit strange, fantastic, good. So I can start sharing these ideas. I can say, okay, click on the heart of the one that you really like the answer to. Let's start sharing our ideas together. So it's not just about posting on the board. It's saying, well, read other people's in the groups. What do they think? We've got a few more coming through. Someone says true love. It's not. Infatuation. I'm just a cynic. He was nuts about it. It makes me sick. I'll allow all of these. It's great. So we've got 2 votes for it being true love. So that's wonderful. Simple collaboration tool. Again, you can do so much with this. If you've got this in the classroom, you've got like a great opportunity for really sharing. I can show the student names. I can do this throughout the session. So there we go. I can see who put what, and that's lovely. Love wins. No, love, everyone dies. That's what I've gathered from it. So let's go through to our next task. Again, I'm still in charge of the session. Now here's my polling tool. You can see how the teacher screen will look completely different to yours. So I said, what's the best ice cream? I've given you 2 options. It's a quiche Lorraine flavor. If you're wondering what type of quiche, it's Lorraine. So it's good. And I can share this as I go. I can see who put what answer. Again, if I want to, I can hide it. That's absolutely fine. But it gives me this opportunity to start getting some feedback from them. And then once I'm happy, I've got enough, I just hit share. And you can see the results of the tests as they come through. And then it's the opportunity to go, okay, guys, let's talk about this. Good work, Sean. Loving that quiche yogurt. It's important. Let's go through, look at some of our other ones. And this is our 3D model. So this is where we can, I can go, oh, there's your kidneys are like there. That's your, I can't even watch Casualty. Again, still got the opportunity to have our slideshow, to have our elements and kind of discuss. This is all very boring. Now, this is the video. And the great thing with the video is I've got a few options here. I can either have it as just the teacher in control of the video, so this device only, or I can have it as all devices. So some students may want to have headphones on, or they may want to find somewhere in the room to watch it in a bit of peace and quiet. Maybe they don't want to watch it as part of a group. I have the option here. So if I say this device only, there's the video, I press play, and it comes straight to me. No adverts, none of that bits and pieces, because it's an education piece of software, so it is quite important that those aren't there. Let's go through some of the other bits and pieces, and lovely. Now, once we get to the end of the session, let's leave it. The best thing really from this is what we evaluate from it. So I can go to this lesson now, I can hit these 3 dots, and I can go to reports. Now, if I go to reports, I can see every time that I've run the lesson, how many students engaged, and then I can see the name of the person, their answers, what they provided. So I can go to each of the individual elements. I can see your drawings, just wonderful. And I can see how you did with the collaboration. So I can go back to those boards and I can kind of see your ideas. Now these reports stay there constantly and I can download them. If I go back to some of my sessions I've run in the past, so let's go to this one here. You know, I can see, there we go, when I've done it, those dates there, and I can see my students' responses. So you've still got those details all on file. Now, the other thing with Nearpod is that it doesn't just have to be synchronous as we just did it then. If I hit student paste, I can share that link and it gives me a period of time in which it goes live. So students go through each slide, you still get the reports, you still got the elements, but you can run it as an asynchronous tool and maybe put it as an extension task, maybe something that's an extra bit of homework for them, but it's still got all those interactive elements of the video, the activity, the 3D modeling, the collaboration board. Now, if you do have the collaboration board, I would say to them, you know, maybe put some, go, oh, have a look back at it in 2 days' time and see other people's results. Because, you know, if someone does it at 3 o'clock and someone does it at 5 o'clock, they're not going to see each other's answers. And again, I can put that on Classroom, I can link it to Teams, I can embed it if you use a Moodle, or I can just give them an email link or a code. So you've got quite a lot of options there with something like Nearpod. It's a very kind of simple tool for us to play around with. And it's one I think the ease of it is that it's so many different tools all in one, as opposed to having a Mentimeter, a Padlet and all this in different sections. It puts it all together and it makes those slides so much more interesting. Now, one of the new features they've added with Nearpod, if you use Zoom in your classroom, is Live Lesson and Zoom. What this will do, if I hit Live Lesson and Zoom, here we go. What it will do now is it will create an automatic Zoom meeting. So if I hit, it won't work now because I'm using Zoom, but creating that meeting, I link it to Classroom. What it will do is it will open up the Nearpod and instantly connect the student to your Zoom account. So it's not having to have 2 bits of software open at the same time. It will kind of merge the two together. And that's a new feature they've just added into using Nearpod. Quite a lot there with it. Again, the best thing I would say to you with something like Nearpod is to play around with it. Take what you've got, add some different features in, start off with the slow bits and pieces and then build it up as you go along to go from there. Please, in the chat box, put any questions you've got about Nearpod. I'm more than happy to answer them. So if you want to put them in the chat box and I'll answer any of the questions you've got on Nearpod. None. Fantastic. Any option for translation? No, unfortunately not. With this one, it doesn't have the translation tool. This is why I want to look at Office 365, but I'll look at that tomorrow for translation. It doesn't have voiceovers, it doesn't have translation. So it's kind of picking when and where you use it for that. Tomorrow's session, I'm going to look at the accessibility features of 365 with regards to translation. So hopefully we can look at how we can combine that tomorrow. But great question, thank you. Okay, so no other questions on Nearpod. You're all quite happy with that. You're just excited about Canva, aren't you? That's what I want to get on. Okay, so let's look at our next tool. I'm going to come off Nearpod now. Now, Canva, for those that haven't used it before, when someone showed it to me and said, oh, have you thought about using Canva? They showed it to me and I just went, not really my cup of tea. I can't see actually any use for it in the classroom. But it is a marketing and design software. But it has so many hidden little features in it, which I just think are fantastic in so many different ways. I think we could really use it as something quite interesting for collaborative learning and sharing and kind of building stuff up. Rebecca, move your wine. We all can see it. It's just Ribena, isn't it? Yeah. So let's have a look at the basics of Canva. straight away, for those that use Instagram or Facebook or anything like that at all, you'll probably notice quite a few patterns. It is used hugely for that. Now, if I go to, I'm just going to type in poster. So what it gives me here are these pre-built templates that we can play around with and we can add. And I kind of really like them. Just the designs, I thought they were really vivid, really stand out. So much is done on Microsoft Publisher. And if I could set fire to a piece of software, Publisher would go first. I'm trying to think of other software I'd set fire to, but yeah, Publisher would, Internet Explorer, that would get set on fire. But yeah, Publisher would die a slow death. So what I can do is I can use these pre-built templates to make something a little bit different. So let's think about, I want to create a poster for new collaborative learning rules in the classroom. So let's try and pick one. Okay, I'm just going to type in rules. Let's see what comes up with rules. There we go, lovely. So it gives me these pre-built templates. So let's go here. Oh, I like this one here. So I've just clicked on it. Now what this designs for me straight away is something very nice like this, lovely. And all I do is just click on it. So Mr. Brownhill, what's your classroom called?
Dosbath Elder.
Brilliant. Can we just call it 5F? I bet your class are amazing at spelling, aren't they? Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm just going to type into the box, Mr. Brownhill's. Okay, font's a little bit big. Let's change the size of it. Let's drop it down a bit. Lovely, good. Now I can type into these boxes, keep it as, you know, so I don't want it to about when you enter the room. I don't even like the word rules. I prefer guidelines because that's unpompous. So you maybe say how we work well together. And again, it's just pre-built typing in. So let's say share our results. You know, it's click and play. And the great thing with it is that all of these different features on here, I can adjust and I can play with. So say, for example, Mr. Brownhill doesn't want apples. I'm clicking on them and I'm deleting them. Let's get rid of the apples. I don't care for those. So what should we have instead of an apple?
Oh, I'll have that person diving.
Okay, you're going to have a diver. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop my diver in. There we go, because they're diving into the classroom. There we go, nice and simple. Yeah, I can put, so say for example, I want a pear in there. I don't know. That's that. There we go, we'll have a pear. There we go. That's rubbish, actually. I need to flip this one. So I'm just going to flip it around a bit. It's a simple, fun, creative tool for us to make something. Now I can do a few things from this, which I really like about it. I've got a poster, but posters are a bit boring. How can I make this a GIF? So I'm going to go to animate at the top here, hit animate, and I can pick how I want this to go together. I like that. Tumble, you happy with Tumble? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this download button up here, download, and I'm going to put it as a GIF. And I'm going to download it as a GIF. Now, for those that don't know GIF, you can pronounce it GIF, GIF, or however you want, but it's a short animated clip. Because Mr. Brownhill uses Twitter and he engages his students with Twitter and all these interesting things, we're going to go to Twitter and we're going to make our GIF interactive. Say, for example, we're going to put something on. So right now, my poster is downloading. There it is. Because posters are boring and they're, wait, let's get electronic, let's get interesting. There we go, very quick. There's my GIF in the bottom hand corner. Let's go to my Twitter and I'm going to drag and drop it, put it in. There we go, lovely. So I now have an interactive GIF that will be on my Twitter feed, or I can put it on my Moodle page or something like that. very, very quick. I won't put that on there because that just look weird. So that's a real simple poster for us to make. Now I can do a few things. If I hit this download poster, I can download it as PDF, JPEG, an image. What I can also do here is I can actually have it printed professionally. So say, for example, you wanted to make some of these really nice posters for your classroom. I can say, okay, I'm going to order it as a print. Now, the A3 one there, it's 1350, it's big size, but you can start to build and make your own personalized posters. You know, I've always said if I wanted to make money, I'd go into a business and just put the word education in front of everything. You know, is that a chair? No, it's an education chair. It's 3 times the price. But you can make these really cool, funky posters from it. What else can we make from using Canva? So let's go back to our templates and let's have a look at some of the education stuff. So let's go, let's type in education. Okay. Actually, let's just go to the education templates. Lesson plans. Again, you can create these really cool, they stand out, they look completely different, very personalized lesson plans for your classroom. So it's something that, you know, if you get inspected or you have someone come and look in, it starts to bring a bit of character to your classroom. You know, something like this, I've seen it where the teacher would actually create something. So say they created this here and they would actually give it to the students, and each week, there they go, they'd be able to type in there their plan and they give it to the students or they put it on their Google Classroom. This is what we're doing this week. Because of the way it looks and just a bit of jazzier design, the students would take ownership of it and they'd instantly have, you know, Mr. Bennett's lesson plan. You can add images to it. You can put pictures of the students in the classroom maybe on there. But it's something very quickly that you can put together, type up for them, and it just adds another level to what you do there. Again, you can animate it, put as a GIF, put it on your Twitter feed or your Moodle page or anything like that at all, and it just makes it a little bit more exciting. And maybe something you want to start sharing, showing, you know, people what you can do in your classroom. Now, with all of these, for adding bits and pieces in, it is literally just click and type. So I can start typing into it. If I want to put text into a box, I just hit text and I can pick any of the fonts I want, and it's very much to kind of drag and drop. So I'm going to put a little bit of text and I can just put that in there. So maybe I want to type in what's going to be in my lesson that week, and I can add those features in. So that's the lesson plan. What else have we got in here? The worksheets. Now, worksheets I know in the past are a bit of a pain in the backside to create, but the nice thing with these is they're pre-built. So, you know, if we take something like, let's pick, trying to pick one, there's classroom rules. Counting cats and dogs. Let's use this one. Again, you can start to create very differentiated activities for your learners. So this is what we've got so far. Lovely. But maybe we know a student who you want to use your own pictures, or you want to start personalizing, adding your name or the classroom or something like that. Very simple. I can alter this around. So say, for example, I know a student who, you know, really likes locusts. You know, how often are you going to find a website which has locust counting worksheets? You're not. Now, any of the things with Pro, you do have to pay for, which is a bit of a nightmare. However, what you can use, and what I really rate, is Pixabay. Now, Pixabay are free, royalty-free images that you can use. And, you know, so let's find locusts. I don't know why I've picked locusts for the day, but there you go. Let's find a locust. I like him. That's a good lad. So once I'm happy, I'm going to download that picture of a locust. It's a download. I'm not a robot. There it is at the bottom. I'm going to go back to my Canva and I'm going to get rid of that cat. I'm rubbish at this. Which ones are the cats? And I'm going to start putting in my locusts. So there we go. Lovely. It is just drag and drop, and I've created my worksheet. Now that's something, again, you can send out to students. They can print off, you know, and they've got that one. They've got some hundreds of different templates just to get ideas, if anything. The fact is that you can then take an idea and you can make it a bit more personal for your classroom if you know it's going to hit a topic. The thing I really like about this is that the frame of it is already built. You know, you've got this idea, and I know I used to spend so long making all the boxes, and then I'd put something in a box and it would ping off halfway across the page and you'd start shouting at your computer. This tool is already pre-built for these very personalized sort of settings. Now, the nice thing about this again is that the students have got, you can put them as, I will come back to that, Will, if that's okay. Great question. With this, because it's so simple and it is literally drag and drop and play around, and also it's quite new, students will really quite engage with this activity. You can make them go, I want you to create your own worksheet. That's something that you can do. Let's have a look at some of these other ones that you've got there. So certificates, if you want to make certificates for your classroom. So let's make a certificate for the classroom. Which one looks really posh? Okay, that's a bit too posh. Okay, let's go for really posh. I want to make some certificates for my classroom. There we go. Happy, I use this template and it builds it for me very quickly. Now, anything like this with that Canva, well, that's going to cost me, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to go to photos. I'm going to type in award. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to put this picture in here. Actually, I'm going to crop it. So again, simple features really that we can play around with. Okay, now I didn't go to art school or anything like that at all, so there's no points for this. I can add filters to it. So this is something that I know the students use a lot, and it kind of plays around with. It just gives me all these little features, and I can just type in and I make it. The thing about it, because it doesn't look like everything else, it just stands out a bit more. I can then either download it as, if I go to download, I can download it as a PDF, as an image. I can make it as a little video, so maybe you have like a worker of the week gift that you want to have for your students and it goes on the Twitter feed or the classroom feed or something like that. Or, you know, if I do want to go a bit further, I can get it printed and have it kind of set out for the students, and that's always quite a good thing for them. So I can print flyers and then I can have it actually handed out for them. So if I want 50 of them for that one student, maybe not that many, I can have that available. Now, really great question.
Can it be printed at home?
Yes, you can.
Personal printer, yeah?
Yeah. Because what I'm going to do is I will show, because that's two great questions that are combined, so much appreciated. So say, for example, I've got this English book review here. Now I can, if I download it, I'm just going to download it as a PDF print. So if I hit download, now what that will do, there it is, it's on my computer. It's a PDF. So I can just print this using my home PC. So you can do that with the certificates, the posters, or anything like that at all. Now, a great question that was asked by Will was, well, can I get the students to do this on their home PC? What I would say here is two things. Say if we, for example, we've got this one here. If we know the students are going to be writing in, I'd make the boxes nice and clear and big like this. And then I would download it as a PDF. Because it doesn't allow you to download it as a Word file. But what I can do is if I download it as a Word file, Let's show it in the folder. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to right hand click and I'm going to open it with Word. Now what this will do is this will transfer it from a PDF file, there we go, to a Word document. Okay, that's one I did a while ago. Where's the other one? There we go. So it will convert it from a PDF file to a Word file so the students can type into the box. Come on. Thank you. Now, what I would say here, it does tend to kind of move bits and pieces around, but if you go to Insert, and I would put in a text box, and then what you can do is if you put a text box in there, is that you can put that and maybe just write in there, type your answer here. So if you do want to use one of the templates that's already available, download it as a PDF, open it with Word, and then insert text boxes so they can play with it. So that's one of the key things I would do. What I liked with this, I've used it with Nearpod before, where the Draw It tool, so I actually created a little activity and then did the Draw It tool for it, which was quite good. So you can do that with those two ways there. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these other features that are on here. So some of the things that I've created, you know, I've done that. I think I put one on Google Classroom earlier. I made a little poster for you about what's going to be in the session. They had a COVID-19 poster, and I thought I'd make something which possibly was a little bit bad taste, but you know, that's what I do. Postcards. I made these postcards to welcome our students back. So I sent these out as e-postcards for our learners, just to say, look forward to seeing you in September. And it was just a nice little personal feature for them. You can make, they got some great, I shouldn't really say this really, they got some great CV templates. These are really useful for a lot of students that, you know, the amount of times I've seen the same CV over and over and over and over again, and it just doesn't stand out. These CV templates on here are absolutely superb, and they really look very professional and very classy. And, you know, I can click on it. And again, with this, the student can literally just, so maybe they don't want a picture of Mr. Chad Gibbons. Let's get rid of Mr. Chad. Let's go to my photos. You know, say I've got a picture of that person there. That's me. They can upload as well their own picture onto there. So if I go to photo, if I go to uploads, they can upload their own picture into that box, and that's absolutely fine. It's also got these pre-made boxes where they can type into, and that's it. It looks nice. It stands out. And, you know, if they want to get them printed, you know, if they're going for a job or something, again, it just really kind of looks a lot better. So the other thing I really loved about this, I've done a lot of work in the past on gamification in the classroom, and it was the first thing that kind of came up to me. Now, I bet you any money somebody in their purse or wallet will have these little kind of reward cards or stuff, and these are quite cool for them. But the one I really like the idea of was, I made one of these. I took a coffee card. They got these coffee card loyalties. So I'm going to use this template, and I'm going to make Mr. Brownhill. So let's say, let's put the year in. So since 2020, again, I'm just typing in let's just change the font size, drop it down a little bit here. There we go. And this is his loyalty card, which is, say for example, they do 9 good things and get a cup of tea. I don't know, you think of the reward for yourself. But what I can do here is I can delete the features that are already there. I'm just going to copy and paste in these little circles here. And maybe I'm going to put a little trophy. Go to our elements. type in a trophy. Lovely. We'll put that there. Good. So these are those little tiny coffee cards. You can print these out. So again, if I go to print, if I download this as a PDF, I can make these little kind of reward cards for the students. I can change the background picture again. I'll print it off for them, but it just gives them something. They get a little stamp on it maybe. Let's change that background actually, because I don't like that background. Let's have, I'm just going to delete all of those backgrounds. Let's go photos, let's go classroom. There we go, lovely. I'm going to drag and drop that classroom. Oh, I'm not paying for it. There we go. So let's put a classroom in there. I'm going to go position. I'm going to send it backward. And then I'm just going to, it's a bit too dark, so I'm going to change the transparency, bring it down a bit. There we go. Now, that font, I can change the color of it. Let's make it a bit darker. There we go. I can do these sorts of things. It just takes a little bit of practice and playing around. But you can make these little kind of fun things for them, print them out. Students have got them in their wallets and stuff. And it just makes things a little bit more interesting and exciting for them. Now, the great thing, again, if we're going to use this in the classroom, is say, for example, they've got to make a school poster as part of an activity. So they can take a design that's already here, and once they're working on it, they can hit share. Now, this is great for our students. If they hit share, they then type in the email address of another student. Again, you can set this up for them. So maybe you build the template, share it with a group of students, and they can all edit it at the same time. So if I had a pre-built template, I can delete the bits I want them to play with. I can then share that with the student and allow them to kind of really play around and kind of get involved with it. So it's quite good little features. Any questions at all on Canva? Please pop them in the chat box. And I'll answer. I do love Canva, so I could play around in here all day. It's great as well if you want to create web pages. So if you are looking to create, so we've got invitations, cards. If they want to do t-shirt printing, they can make t-shirts, and then you can actually even get the t-shirts printed out. You just press a button, the company sends them in the post. Wonderful. Okay. I'm going to have a 5-minute break just to have something to drink. Go grab yourself a cup of tea. Rebecca's going to go top up a wine glass, and everybody else, well, no, don't. If you do have any questions about Canva or anything else at all, please ping them in the chat box and I'll answer them. But when we come back, we're going to look at animation, YouTube videos, and interactive bits and pieces. So I will see you in a minute. And the recording will be, so let's start back with the recording. Becky, you have a child doing gymnastics in the doorway. Tell them to be careful, thank you. Always watching, it's good. Okay, let's get started. So the next one I want to look at is using Powtoons. Now, Powtoons isn't something I've really used a great deal of, but I think it's one of those tools that I think you could really kind of actually benefit from how it connects to other software, which is what I like about it. So I've just gone to powtoon.com. Again, I'm just going to be showing the basic, the free features that are there. Now, you can do a few things with it. So I'm going to start with just a basic blank Powtoon, then I'm going to show how to use it with the import of PowerPoint. So Powtoon, for those that don't know it, are animated video clips, which we can use to explain bits and pieces. So let's go for Modern Edge. So the first thing to look at with this is it's set up very much like how PowerPoint is set up. Down the left-hand side, you'll have your slides for each scene. then your main screen, which you're working on here, and at the bottom you have your timeline, how long you want that scene to last for. And you can increase the length of that for as much as you want. So you've got 20 seconds on the basic one for each scene, but you can just copy and put multiple scenes there if you want. So let's start with a theme. So I can pick one of these pre-made templates. Now, again, let's go to an intro and let's just pick a very basic one. That one looks good. Lovely, good. So I'm just going to type in here. So I'm going to call this one Mr. Jones's class rules for the year. Oh no, there we go. So let's see what we've got so far. So I've just typed that in and now we have this. Lovely. Nice little simple bit of animation. Now, what we can do from here is we can add some characters in. Now, again, it's got a lot of these pro features, which are the more expensive ones, but it does have these basic ones you can add in here. So, you know, let's add this gentleman in here. So I can just drag and drop him in. So he's going to stand at the side. Now, if you do pay for the full package, you can change your avatar if you want to personalize it and make it actually look like you. You can do. Cost of that is about $9.99 a month. So maybe it's something that you could buy and share it out between all the staff if you feel it's going to be beneficial. Now I can change his actions. I can change his pose. So he's going to be sad for some reason because I just feel like having a sad teacher. Wonderful. There we go. And that's my first slide. I'm quite happy with that one. It looks wonderful. So now I'm going to add blank slide. I'm going to add my next scene. So I want to get a background in here. I want to get a background of a classroom. So I can search here for a classroom background. Now, it's got some pre-made ones here, which are lovely. But again, I can just go to Pixabay and I can get a decent image free of charge. So let's go to classroom. That's a nice one. Wonderful, we'll have that one. So if I want to, I can just download a free image. You know, it doesn't have to be these ones that you pay for. Again, it's about going, well, where can we save money? And I'm just going to drag and drop that in there. So that if I go to picture, let me just move you there. I can upload a picture into my box. So upload your background. Let's hit upload. Is it called bricks? There it is. Wonderful. So I now have my background for my next scene. I'm going to put my characters in. So let's put a character. Let's go back to the office and let's go for this teacher person here. There you go. I'm going to have it so she looks like she's standing on that little desk. Again, I can add her posing. So she's like, oh, I've got a wonderful idea. Good. So now I need her to talk. And there's a few things we can do here. So I can either add text. So I've got these video titles I can add. So let's add a video title in here. So again, just drag and drop this in. I don't like the color of this. I'm just going to go to my background. I'm going to make my background a bit lighter. So let's change. Actually, we'll just change this one here. I'll make that black. That's a bit better. I can see that now. So I can add these kind of different texts in here. So let's say, welcome to the class. I would maybe actually pick a better background color because that one looks rubbish. So let's pick a different background. It's a bit too light for adding text. But yeah, that works better. And with all of these, I can just drag and put them into where I want them to go. Right, now she shouldn't stand on the desk. Maybe I'll put her here in front of it. And I'll delete that box. There we go. So where's my scene so far? Wonderful, there's my teacher. And she's saying, welcome to the class, wonderful. Now, on this timeline here, I can move how long they're on screen for as long as I want. I can move them a little bit earlier so she doesn't just appear, and I can have the text, and I can shorten how long it's on. So all I'm doing now is I'm just moving that. So maybe now I want to add text again. So let's add some more text to my screen. Get rid of that there. And I'm going to add a title. Let's move this up. Again, I'm going to change the color of this so it looks like it's chalk on the board. And I've got this coming in at 2 seconds. So now I've got, there's my wonderful teacher. Now I need that to disappear a bit sooner. So what I'll do is I'll just change that to last a little bit. Let's move that a bit. There we go. So it is kind of one of those things where you just got to play around with how you want it to go and where you want it to kind of move around with and bits and pieces. You can add props. There's lots of these kind of pre-built-in images that you want to have. So I don't know, for some reason she's got an asthma inhaler. I don't know. And these are all animated and allow you to play around. And the key thing is just bringing in when you want it to be part of. Yeah, I can put a gas mask on her. Fantastic. I'm going to put a gas mask on her. There we go. I hope this is a question about why you're putting a gas mask on her. Karen Davies, you are too far ahead. Chill, Karen. But yes, we're going to get to that. Now, one of the great things with this again, which I really like with this, is the ability to add voiceovers. So this is useful in quite a few different ways. So maybe you want to add the actual your physical. If if that you're pretending that's you, you can actually talk over the top. So I'm going to go to add voiceover. Now I can either upload one I've already recorded. If you want to pay for somebody else to record it for you, you can do, or you can just simply record it on your computer. So you get 20 seconds for the recording. I'm going to do it just for this slide. So what are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at some rules and bits, and it's fun. Okay, so I've stopped that. I can play it back. What are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at some rules and bits, and it's fun. Good. I'm happy with that. I'm going to save it. Stuff. So now I've got my video. I've got when I'm going to add the sound in. I'm happy with that voiceover. It's just going to be on this slide. And there it is. So that is now on my slide. So if I play it from the start. What are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at some rules and bits. Fantastic. So you can start adding these voiceovers to your animation. Again, if you want to do it in Welsh or if you want to do it in any other languages to help support your classroom, you can do that. You can also add some music. So you can either upload a song, or they do have these kind of free built-in. So maybe you want to let's put some chilled music in. Now I would say if you're going to have voiceovers, just drop the volume down a bit. There we go. And we'll play them together. What are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at some rules and bits, and it's fun. Wonderful. Good. So let's have a look, see what we've got so far. So we go back to the start. What are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at some rules and bits, and it's fun. Wonderful. So we started to put together our little images. Let's put another slide in, see other features that we've got here. Now we can add videos to this. So we can either, they've got some kind of pre-built-in ones they've got there. Or if we go to my videos, we could take ones that we have on our computer. So here are some that I've kind of used before. Or you can upload ones that you've already kind of recorded. So let's add a video that I've already recorded. Now, what I did for this was I did one on, I used my Zoom video to create one. So if I go to my Zoom, I don't even know where I put it. No, it's here somewhere. There we go. 2 seconds. It is here somewhere. So there it is. Fantastic. So I recorded a Zoom video. It's on my desktop. Wonderful. So just while it's processing, it'll take a bit of a while. So if you do want to actually, there we go. Where I'll talk about something to do with whatever the part 1 is of the video. Part 1. Lovely. So if you want to add videos, you can add videos to it. It's not purely just animation that comes in. Yes, Becky, again, you are one step ahead of the game. I'm going to show you this next stage of now how we get it onto something like Seesaw or any other devices. We've got things like, there's lots of these little special bits and pieces we can add, but you can create these really quite simple and fun interactive videos. Now, if you want to, say we'll call this one test 2. If you want to save this, you've actually got to pay to download it as an MP4. If you want to download it as a hard copy and put it anywhere else. But again, I ain't going to do that because that's not the way I work. But what you can do is you can create a YouTube account. So if I go to YouTube, so I've just gone to export and then YouTube. What this is going to do, I've already got a Powtoon, I've already got a YouTube video account set up. And I'm going to set the privacy to private. This means that when the video goes live, only I can see it or anyone with the link. I then hit next. I'm going to give it a category because they like to have a category, and I'm going to hit next. Basic quality, and I'm going to upload it. Now what this is going to do is this is going to put it into my YouTube account. It's going to take a little bit of time while it does that. So while it's doing that at the moment, there it is, I'm going to kind of show you another feature with Powtoons that you can do. I will come back to that in a second. Now, the other thing you can do with this, again, is you can import a PowerPoint that you have, an existing PowerPoint as a video. So let's go to, let's try and find, there we go. So what this is doing now is it's inserting an existing PowerPoint I've got. So I can add the animation features, but more importantly, once it's put it on there, I can add the voiceover. It's another additional feature that we can start to bring into our classrooms. If we want to make something that is beneficial for students away from the classroom, that's there and that is available. One of the features as well that you can do, again, going back to this idea of using the videos, I'm not sure how many of you have used this before. How many here, just show of hands, have used the whiteboard feature on Zoom? 1. Good work, Natalie. Becky, fantastic, good. A few of you have. So those that haven't seen it, I'll just show you the whiteboard because, again, this kind of shows how it links to. When you're on Zoom, if you go to share screen, you'll see a little feature that says whiteboard. And you'll get this interactive screen here. Now, what I would say to you, if you are going to use this, get yourself maybe like a tablet pen, but you can record, especially if you're doing, say you're doing mathematics and you want to do a voiceover at the same time of what you're doing and how you get to it. And you can record these short videos, save that video, and then that can be also added to your Powtoon account. So you're adding this additional feature to kind of what you've got. So if you have, let's go back to our Powtoon, good. We've got our PowerPoint presentation. You can then interject that presentation with maybe you put, I'm going to put a little video in there of me explaining how I did that mathematics equation with a voiceover over the top. So here's my PowerPoint. Again, what it does is it does kind of mess around a little bit with it. But I can still add all my animation features. I can add the voiceover, and then I can save it to my YouTube account. So look and see if that one's done yet. Yeah, good. So that's another kind of quite a clever feature with it. Now, if we go to, let's go to my YouTube. And I'll kind of show you how I've set this video up. Brilliant. Now, if I go to the channel that I've got, I can see the videos. Hopefully I can. Why is it not uploaded? Go to my library. Ah, there we go. So here's a, where's my videos? Or is it on a different account? I don't know. It's definitely on here. Let me try that again. I'm going to just upload that again and see why that's, I think it's sent it to the wrong YouTube account. So that's YouTube. Which one is it going to? Because the key thing is, once it's on YouTube, I can then download it as an MP4. That's the one I want to use. Yes, thank you. Well, it's private. So I'm just going to go through that again. It wasn't liking what I did there. So hopefully that will upload in now. It may take a little bit of a while for it to kind of upload there. Because once it's on there, like I said, I can download that as a video for people to kind of look at and there we go. So once we go to our YouTube account, go to videos on the left-hand side. Now these are the videos that I've created. So there's the one that we've just done. Now I can view this on YouTube. And again, the great thing you'll see here is it's completely private, which means no one can go on it. But I can share it with the link. But what I can do is if I go back to where the video is, I can go to options and I can edit this. So let's hit those details. Now what I would say is if you do put something on YouTube yourself, put here, yes, it's made for kids. This means it takes away the advertisements that's on there. So you won't get all the, the betting 365 videos and bits and pieces for it. And it makes it kind of safe for them. And then hit save. Then what you can do is once that's done, let's go back to my channel videos, is I can hit these three dots here and I can download it. And there we go. I've now got it saved on kind of off a computer and it's now an MP4. So you can easily get it from YouTube, download it as an MP4. So if you do want to upload it to Google Classroom or you want to upload it to Seesaw or any other tools, you can make your video and you can upload it on there. There we go.
So this is part one.
There we go. So that's a kind of easy way to get a video from Powtoons onto your YouTube channel and then upload it so that students have got access to it. And that's quite a nice little thing for them. Any questions so far on Powtoon that you want to add on there? Anything to help support you? Please pop them in the box. So hopefully that's answered the two questions that are on there. So yes, we can download it and that's how we do it. And we can download it onto an iPad so it can be uploaded to something like Seesaw. Any questions, whack them in the box and I will answer them straight away. None. Brilliant. Okay. Next little tool for us to look at is something that I found a while ago. Now, we use something called ClickView. Because what I've found before is, and you may have found in your own classroom, is that when you put a YouTube video on there, the question is always kind of, are students really engaging with this video tool? Are they able to answer the questions? Or are they just sitting there and passively letting it kind of go over them? Now, Visio.co, I'll put all the links on the YouTube page later, on the classroom page later, is a way of us taking a YouTube video that's out there and creating an interactive tool for them. So let's get started. I'm going to sign up. I've already logged in. I've got a Google account with them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to YouTube, and let's just go to YouTube. Let's say, okay, I'm going to take a Dylan Thomas poem. All I'm going to do first is I'm going to copy the web address at the top. So I've just copied that web address. You can, if you want, you can right-hand click and you can copy it that way. And then I'm going to go to Visio. I'm going to go to New Video. And then I'm just going to import that link. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to put the video, and only the video, on my Visio page. And what we're going to be able to do with this video now is start adding some interactive questions, quizzing and polling. And I'm going to show you how you would do that once it's decided to hurry up and load. While it's doing that, I'm just going to give it a name. It is taking its time. There we go. Okay. So what it's done now is it's put the YouTube video into my task. I'll give it a name again. Update that. Wonderful. Now along the bottom here, this grey line at the bottom, you have your timeline. And what I can do along here, so say for example, I start playing it.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Oh.
Okay, so I can click on there and I can pick one of these questions here. So say for example, I say text response, and I can type a question here. So I can put, what do you think the writer means by? And then I can save it. Now, what I've added there is an open-ended question where I'm going to get the student responses. Let's keep going.
Should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light.
Okay, so now I can put a question in here. So maybe I'm going to put a poll. Use of repetition in so let's say use of repetition. So I don't know, maybe I can put here for anger, sort of stress. I can put a series of answers in here for learners to answer. Now with a poll, I can, if I want, I can select kind of the one that I really want them to focus on. But this is really about sharing their ideas and how it makes them feel. Because what I may do is hit that, and then instantly afterwards I'll put a response.
The wise men at their end, no dark is right. Because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go.
Lovely. As it goes along, I can add quizzes. So let's add a quiz in here. So, you know, what does he mean by this sentence? You can do this with anything as it goes along, and you can start putting some kind of test bits and pieces in for them. See how good your memory is. And then hit save. The final one I can add here, I normally can use it right at the end, is I can add what's called call to action. Now, call to action is if you want an extension task. So go to this website for more information. And then I'll put in the web link. And I'll hit save. So what I've got now is I've created an interactive YouTube page for our students. Let's have a look, see how this kind of works. So I'm going to copy that web link and I'm going to go to our Google Classroom page. Now I can put it as, if I go to classwork, I can set it as an assignment. So if I go to create, I'm going to go to assignment. And I'm going to call this one Dylan Thomas activity. I'm going to say complete the activity and provide your answers. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to add and I'm going to put it in as a link. And I'm going to add the link. The great thing if you do it this way is that you haven't got this ridiculously long web address. If you not using Google Classroom and you want to get rid of those long web addresses, I would go to tinyurl.com because what this website will do is I can put in a really long web address and it will create a shortened version for me, which I can just copy and I can use that. So I've put this on our page. It's going to be unmarked. And I'm going to assign this. So what I'd like you to do now is go to that Google Classroom page. And I want you to just have a go at some of the little activities I've put on there. Because I want you to, we're then going to look at how it looks from the student point of view and then from the teacher's point of view. So go onto the Classroom page and have a go at that Visio and see how you get on with that. If you have any questions, again, please add them in. That would be superb. Again, you don't have to write an actual answer. It's more about just seeing how it looks and how it plays and kind of getting used to seeing from the student's perspective what they're going to look at and what they're going to do with that tool. And Rianne, you can't cheat by getting your daughter to do it. I do love this Zoom. You do get to be nosy because Donna, that's a wonderful staircase you have behind you. I like it. Jealous. Just going to be jealous of people's homes. Okay. Now it's started to collate the ideas. It's got them engaged with watching the video. Again, you can add as many of those as you want in. But if we go back to our Visio account as the teacher now, what I can do here is I can, let me just refresh it. Okay, I can see I've got one full response so far of how many people have done it. Now, the great thing with this is, okay, if it didn't allow access on the Chromebook, on the laptop, it may be down to, you need to make sure you got your flash settings on. So if you go to your computer, the top left here, what you may need to do is just go to the site settings and maybe make sure that you've got, there we go. You want to look for even making sure flash is allowed to make sure that works. Because this isn't going through YouTube, it should work okay. But again, if it's an issue, I would maybe create it we can create a separate tool for it. Maybe use Google Forms instead and download that video off YouTube through your channel. Let's see how many other responses we got so far. I've got 2 now coming through. Wonderful. Now, what I can do here is I can download the CSV file, which is my Excel spreadsheet, and it will put together the answers that the students have provided. Now, what may be a good idea is in that first question, because of the nature of this, is to put the first question as what is your name? A way to then make sure your spreadsheet adds these sorts of features in. But it will take the interactive questions you've got, it showcases to you that they have read and listened and watched and engaged with the video and not just merely just sat there and kind of let it kind of go through. Again, let's look at the next stage. Well, why don't we take the Powtoon that we created? It's that next level of where we go from here. It's all about the kind of key idea is this idea of personalizing it for your learning. So I can now make the video I had on YouTube. All I did was I took the URL address, put it onto Visio, and I can do exactly the same again. So maybe if you do something like this, rules for the year, I can put some questions in. How's this going to support your learning? How's this going to benefit your classroom? And so on, and bits and pieces. Bless you, Nicole. So it's got quite a few little things that we can really do with it. Any questions at all about Visio? Pop them in the chat box. And we'll go from there. It is quite a lot that we're popping through. I do apologize. If the pace is a bit fast at all, please do say, and I will slow down. No questions? None? Okay. Okay, let's look at one last piece of software for tonight because it's going to help me for tomorrow night. And the final one I want to look at is the use of Mentimeter to support the classroom. Again, it's another tool that really doesn't get that much kind of focus, but it's one I've really I've used quite a lot and I really do like it, so it's quite good. Now, Mentimeter.com is interactive presentations. It's not just PowerPoint, it's polling and so much more. So you can just set up a simple account using your Google address, which is what I've created here. And I'm going to start with new presentation. Now, the free account allows you, I think it's between 3 and 4 different questions. So let's just, let's create a presentation here. So what you get here, again, like PowerPoint, down the left-hand side, you'll have your slides, which are your different questions. Center of the screen, you'll have what you're working on, and then you've got your types. So what I can do, let's look at firstly this idea of the multiple choice. Now I put the multiple choice one up earlier, and I can type anything in here. So let's say, so what do you want to learn tomorrow? So I can type in this. So let's go WordPress blogging. I can put my options in as to what you want to look at. So let's put some bits and pieces in for tomorrow. Trying to remember what was on my list. Lots of different things, really. What else was on there? So I can add these different features straight in. Now what I can do here is I can add slide on the left-hand side. And there's quite a few different bits in here you can put here. So I always like the idea of especially using like the word cloud. Again, I can put the word cloud in and I can put, you know, describe a cloud. Now, what this does is it creates this kind of word art wall for the students. It's a great way if you're looking at making, if they're doing poetry, any creative writing, to get this huge amount of words out there that's available. Good thing again with Mentimeter, it does have a profanity filter. So if people do wish to swear, you can restrict it in multiple languages, but not Welsh. So if you want to swear, do it in Welsh. I'm going to let you submit multiple times. And I'm happy with that. So I'm going to let's add another slide. Now again, with this one, I've got the open-ended, which is like a Padlet collaboration board. But I also have these scales. I like these scales myself personally. I use these a lot. As it's basically just a Likert scale. So let's go confidence. So I'm going to put this first statement as being, I feel confident about Classroom. Let's say I feel so all I'm going to ask for is just kind of how you feel with confidence with different levels. So let's say translation tools. And what I want to do is I want to get your feelings and your feedback with so I've created this kind of simple kind of questionnaire that's going to go out. I can add some different themes if I want to make it look a little bit more interesting. Let's go. That one looks nice. Yeah, we'll go for that one. Cool. Now what I can do here, once I've created this, I can kind of go to my settings, my configuration. Now presenter pace means that because we've got 3 slides there, that I'm in charge of when we move from one question to the next. But for yourself, I'm going to put it as audience pace. So that means that you can skip through and change as you want. I don't want you to answer several times. I just want you to answer once and go from there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to share. Now I can either copy the QR code so you can do it on your phone, or I can give you a voting link. So I'm just going to copy that link. I'm going to go to the main page we have here, go to our stream, and then for tomorrow's session. And I'm going to add a link. Actually, I want to add another little question on here. I'm just going to add a slide. But this next slide is going to be, oh, what one can I get rid of? I'll get rid of this describer cloud. I only got 3 on here for the free one. Go. Open-ended. I'm going to call this.
Hi, Mum, you okay?
I'm fine.
Good. Yeah, fine, thanks. How's the caravan? Oh, sorry.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. So I'm going to go back to share, copy the link, and I'm going to put it on our page. Now, if you are online, what I would like you to do is to go to that and have a try at answering it once it's loaded up, because I'll kind of show you some of the features with what it does. So I'm going to post that now. So I've posted that, very quick Mentimeter. It's available and you can kind of access it. So if you do want to go on there now and start posting some of your ideas and answers, it is going to be open now for 2 days. That. Oh, good. So you can see how instantly you can start adding some elements to it. I can see how many people have answered so far and the feedback and stuff that's coming through. I'm doing a session on Thursday on comic books. So I've got 10 people who've answered so far, 11. I can go to the next slide. I can start seeing these ideas. You know, if you've got this in the classroom, it's on the board and people are feeding in and replying, you can see how it's quite interesting for them to kind of go through and see how they kind of get on with that. Now, this is going to stay open, this Mentimeter, until tomorrow. So if you do get the chance, I would love to kind of see what else you'd like to learn. It gives me some chance tomorrow to maybe change what I'm going to do, add some extra bits and pieces. The aim for tomorrow's class is I am going to look at Microsoft Office 365, the online packages, mostly for the accessibility features, so translation. I'm going to show you how to do English to Welsh subtitles. So when you're talking, it translates for you there and then. It does it from French, does every language. It's really, really cool. I'm going to look at Microsoft Sway for creating interactive magazines and newsletters with bits and pieces. I'm going to look at Padlet in a little bit of detail. I'll do some more on YouTube, yeah. And I'll show you Animoto, which is a real nice, simple tool for bits and pieces. But that's kind of it for tonight, really. I'm going to show you this. I meant to show it on Thursday, but I'll show it to you guys first. I've got this really cool comic book website, which is a great way of making story comics online that students can print off and download. Same with Storybird and bits and pieces. If you've got any questions about tonight, please pop them in the chat box. I'm going to be here for the next 5-10 minutes. More than happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for coming along tonight. It has been quite a lot of information. The recordings, for some reason, I'm being a bit slow with them at the moment. They're just being a bit of a pain, but I will make sure I will get them on as soon as I can onto the Google Classroom page. So thank you so much for coming along tonight, and I will see you all next week.
Cheers, you. That was amazing.
Oh,
Thank you.
there's so much that you just want to kind of go through, but at the same time, I understand that after how many Zoom meetings you may have had today, you don't want to do that many.
Thanks, Julian.